If you are a digital service provider of some sort, or you have an agency where you are working with a lot of clients and you do have a shared folder with each and every one of your clients that you host, you must have a huge client folder database on Google Drive or wherever else. If it's on Google Drive, I think I can help you tremendously in this video. So I stumbled upon a very interesting use case a couple of weeks ago where my client has had multiple hundreds of client folders, and those client folders had multiple subfolders and thousands of files uploaded. So you can imagine like how many files there could be with 100 or 200 or multiple hundred clients. And generally these are like living and breathing folder structures, right? Like if you are working on a retainer basis as a video editing agency where you get raw materials from your clients, or a paid ads agency, or whatever else where you are working with your clients and they are sending you raw images or raw videos or raw copy or whatever else, then it might be a huge issue when you don't have a notification system with 2, 3, 4, 500 clients, or just even 50 clients when they upload something. I mean, they can notify you, but they might forget or something like that, and then maybe you can lose a couple of days because you don't get notified that there is actually a new file uploaded. So I did what any other automation specialists do. I checked out make.com and Zapier if this problem can be solved, if there is a new file uploaded, can I actually make an automation to make a notification? And so what I realized very quickly is that there is a new file uploaded, that can be a trigger, or when there's like a new folder or updated file or something like that. These can be the default triggers in Zapier, but it cannot track sessions, individual sessions. It cannot group uploads. So for example, if someone uploads 50 videos, raw material videos all at once, it cannot group into a session. So it would send you 50 notifications, which is first of all really annoying. And second of all, it eats up a lot of zaps. So it could make you bankrupt if you are working with a lot of clients and making that many zaps. So I approached a very different way, which is the native app script that Google has. So if you type script.google.com, it's going to be the rough surface that you are going to see. And so you can basically create new projects and you can make scripts on Google on your account. And so basically that script can run once a day, once a week, once in a couple of hours, and then that can screen your entire folder infrastructure and give the information back to you or send an email to you what have been updated or what new files came since the last check or since yesterday. So every day you can send a grouped notification to yourself, broken down to each and every one of your clients who actually uploaded, let's say in the last 24 hours, and you can group them. And even if they are like 50 files, it's still less annoying if there is one notification where the 50 files are showing under one major folder than having 50 separate notifications where you have to like group yourself or kind of figure out which belongs to what. So it can be very annoying. So how I approach this task is that I went into ChatGPT, obviously, and then I told the role, you are a Google script coder specialist, and the task is write a Google script that scans a main folder with its entire subfolder structure and lists each files that have been uploaded since the last check, I could say. And so if I run this every single day, then it would remember the last check and basically write a Google script. Yeah. And then it would basically remember the date or the timestamp of the last check, and it would check each and every single file if it has been uploaded after that certain time stamp or before that. And so it would only list the ones that have been recently uploaded. So let's see what it gives us. Obviously, it will give us a script, which is perfect. You need your main folder ID. You can also tell ChatGPT to list all the variables that is required from you. So you can input that ID to the folder, to this part of the code, and then basically, as I see, the rest is pretty straightforward. So it's a couple, it's like 50 lines of code, and you can come back here, create a new project, come here to the editor. You can add the code, save, and then basically you can already run it, right? Obviously, you first need to change the folder because it's going to run on error. And the other two most important menus are going to be the triggers and the executions. So once you ran one of these scripts, it's going to record it as a log in the executions, and then you can check if there is like an error message or it's completed. And that can be a feedback to you if you should reiterate your code or not. So let's come back here to the triggers, and I am going to set up a trigger. This is going to be a test project. And I'm going to add a trigger real quick. Check files, time driven. I'm going to do a daily timer, midnight at, let's say, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. So it's in GMT +1. It's in Europe time at the moment. This can be changed though. And I'm going to save this one. So this way we have created this trigger that is going to start the script every single day between 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Europe time. And so basically how we are going to be notified about the result, right? That's a very important part of it because I didn't tell ChatGPT to write that in the script. So it would be just in the log files which ones are the new ones. So if extend the code base by sending an email to test@test.com with the files, with the file names that have been uploaded since the last check. Please structure the files in its folder tree structure. This is a very important part because if it just starts to like randomly drop in files, then you have no idea like where it's uploaded, and so you have to take a look at the file structure tree and take a look at like which is the highest folder it belongs to, which is going to be the client folder where the client name is the name of the folder, and so then you can know like which client uploaded. So this is a pretty nice solution, I would say, because this doesn't cost any money to run this on Google, while Zapier would be a very costly alternative. So that's one of the reasons why it's a really good solution. The second one is that it's a native script and it can check at like thousands of files, which is very, very nice. Again, because it's much more scalable than Zapier on like a free basis, basically. However, there's a little bit of limitation because you don't get an instant notification when the file gets uploaded, right? You have to wait for every morning to get that notification what has been uploaded the previous day. So that's a little bit of a downfall of the solution, but I think it's good enough because the maximum amount of time that that file waits there unattended is 24 hours, right? And I think this is a nice enough solution to implement if you are working with a lot of clients. All right, so it also gives you some explanation how the code works. I have to tell you that I have never coded or just barely learned a little bit of JavaScript in my life. So I roughly understand what's going on here, but I would be not able to write this code from scratch. So this is unbelievable that ChatGPT can do this for you. And then basically you just copy, you change the code, and yeah, you see that it's a little bit longer than the one before because you added extra features to it. And here comes the fun part, because you have to test this a lot. You might run into timeout errors because Google gives you 6 minutes for every single script to run. After that, it times out. This way, Google protects this. So you have to go back and forth with ChatGPT a lot. And in my use case that I solved, I had to reiterate 30, 35, 40 times by the time it really started to work properly. So I cannot go into any more detailed with that use case because I have created that for a specific client for a specific use case, so I can't show that exactly. But the thought process, how you can make this happen for you, is roughly like this. And then after this point, when you started to test and you see the execution log and the error log, and then you feed that back to ChatGPT, you can reiterate that for 40 times like I did, and at the end you get a proper code which works perfectly. So this is a low-code solution where you somewhat understand the logic and what you are asking from ChatGPT. And it gives you back actual code that you don't necessarily have to understand. But if you just test and reiterate a couple of times, then you can make it work. And honestly, I think you can write code faster than someone who is actually a coder, but let's say don't understand the use case that well. And if you have to explain to someone, I think they would do a worse job than ChatGPT would. And I heard a very interesting expression a couple of days ago, which is ChatGPT is the hottest programming languages on earth right now, which is kind of true because I am writing a software using English. So this is a crazy perspective to think about. So once you have your base code, then you can check the trigger. It have never run before. I'm just going to run this. For test purposes, you can run this from the editor by clicking here. I'm just going to run on fail right now because I don't have a main folder ID. But it's going to run for you if you have a main folder ID. And you are going to see each and every runs at the execution area. And then you can see it's launched from the editor, which is generally used for test. If it's initiated with a trigger, it's going to show that it was a trigger. It says the duration. It's going to time out at 360 seconds, which is 6 minutes. And then it will either say it succeeded or it failed. And then when you break it down or check what happened with this certain run, it's going to show you the exact reason, and then you can just copy and paste to ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT what the problem was, and then it's going to fix it for you. So that's the thought process. If you have any other use cases using AppScript or Google Drive infrastructure or Google infrastructure at all, I would highly recommend to start this route, and maybe you can solve that with an easy AppScript solution with a low code, with a couple of lines of codes that can be generated by ChatGPT. So yeah, this was an interesting use case. I loved to work on it, honestly. It took me quite some time to get this right, but honestly, this was the very first time I used AppScript, and this was the very first time I created a production-grade notification system for a client, and I made that with a low-code solution. So as you can see, AI can solve you a lot of issues, and I highly recommend to do not sleep on the AI revolution, because a lot of problems can be solved by just smart prompting, really. Like if you can describe the use case and you learn some very basic prompting, how you should structure your prompts, you can solve a lot of problems which is related to like large databases, especially because that's what the large language model is especially good for. These applications that I showed you are just the tip of the iceberg, and there are a lot more to the AI game. I have to tell you that. You can check out the channel for other AI videos. Hope you like this video. See you in the next one.